Really weird stuff. That's very weird.
Really Weird Stuff is a holistic Twin Peaks podcast. That means we discuss each episode within the context of the series as a whole. In other words, spoilers abound. Welcome to Really Weird Stuff, episode 29, wherein we will discuss Twin Peaks Season 2, episode 21, Miss Twin Peaks. This episode was written by Barry Pullman and directed by Tim Hunter. It originally aired on June 10th, 1991. I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Annie Malone.
And we'll need a lot of help with this episode, so we've got both halves of the X-Rated podcast here today. Ryan Whedon and Matt Fisher.
Hello. Hi.
You got your NPR voices on today. Ryan, way back when we conceived of this podcast, you were like, that's the episode I want to do. So what do you love about this episode? Give us an overview.
When I did my watch through of it during lockdown, after the slog of the dip of season 2, after
the Civil War stuff.
Yeah, all that junk. Like,
yeah.
This was something. And this episode feels different, like, kind of from the start, but it ends in such a way where I was like, wow, now we're back. It feels like something's happening. And then, of course, we're done after this. but it was just, like, nice. I really, really liked the last 5 minutes, which we'll talk about, just really felt special and, like, bringing back the feelings that I got from season 1. So we're, like, coming back strong, I guess, at the end of season 2, and that's the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah, especially all the stuff with, like, Josie as a drawer, or like a knob, or
yeah,
whatever she was.
yeah. All that we can put aside and then get into the goods here.
It's so funny, not to jump ahead, but it is really funny that when Cooper mentions, he, like, never mentions that to anybody. Like, I still don't know if he saw that or if that was just for us. Because, like, he's literally never said out loud, and then she was in the drawer knob. The drawer bowl.
That's a good point.
Oh, it's weird. Well, Tim Hunter is a really great director. He is known for directing the film River's Edge. And that was why they hired him. He was on the list of directors from the beginning because David Lynch liked River's Edge.
Okay.
And he also directed some earlier episodes that were really good. Bangers. The One-Armed Man, Arbitrary Law, which is the one where Bob shuffles off to Buffalo. And then this one. He's also directed episodes of Breaking Bad and Mad Men, so a real prestige TV guy. And Frost and Lynch really obviously trusted him with this lore-filled episode. And this is Barry Pullman, the writer's 4th episode. He wrote The Orchid's Curse, Masked Ball, and Wounds and Scars. And those are all kind of character introduction episodes. He introduces Harold in The Orchid's Curse, Denise in Masked Ball, and Annie in Wounds and Scars.
Okay.
They were like, he's our character introduction guy. But there isn't really a character introduction here.
Not really.
They just really trust him with that. It just feels like this is our trusted team to go into the finale, which is important.
Yeah.
And then just a note about what it was like at the time of airing. Fans had been waiting for this episode since April, and it aired alongside with the next one as a double feature-length finale.
Is April mean that's when they introduced the Miss Twin Peaks pageant?
Well, so the most previous episode, The Path to Black Lodge,
There was like 2
aired in April.
months.
Yeah, and then there were 2 months.
Wow. Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Yeah,
That's a long time to wait.
very,
Like,
very long time.
For
What?
2 episodes.
yeah. I mean, one thing was like between seasons, of course, but like between episodes, ouch.
They really fucked it all up. And then also, it just built up the anticipation for the people who still cared about it. And so that's part of why everyone was so destroyed by the finale. They wanted answers, and they wouldn't get them for a long time, if ever.
How's Annie? How's Annie? How's Annie? How's Annie?
Can I
Oh,
ask a question? I don't know
Yes.
if we'll know the answer to this. How many days or weeks have passed in the Twin Peaks universe since Laura Palmer has died and this Miss Twin Peaks pageant?
That is such a good question that I really want to answer, and I know it's knowable, so I'm going to look it up.
Frankly, if it's anything, like, relatively recent, I feel like it's a little inappropriate to have a beauty contest. When there's, like, a serial killer on the loose, and, like, one high school girl that's died fairly recently. Like, it seems like maybe pause it this year.
I think they were doing it in season 1, weren't they? Where, like, each one is a day? Like,
Yeah.
each
Yeah,
episode
they're,
is a
like-
day. Did they abandon that?
Well, they definitely kept track of how much time had passed. I feel like there's an episode like early in season 2 where they say specifically it's been 2 weeks since, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they acknowledge like how slow it's moving.
Honestly, I feel like if it's anything less than, like, 6 months, it's a little...
I think it's less
A little
than that.
insensitive.
My thought, I mean, she's gonna find it, but I think it's just like a couple months.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess in the town, it's like Leland killed her and Leland died, so at least it's not like an ongoing open investigation anymore. It's like technically a closed case.
Was she last year's Miss Twin Peaks?
I don't think so.
Laura?
They never say.
Okay.
It seems pretty conceivable that she could have won that before, but it also seems like she wouldn't fucking care about that at all, so who
She's doing
knows?
so
I
much
feel like they
already.
Yeah.
would
She's a
have
busy
said
girl.
if, I think that would have come up when they said all the other things that she was.
Right, definitely.
Between her Meals on Wheels and
Yeah.
moonlighting as a call girl and high
She-
school and
she
having
worked at
two
the perfume
boyfriends.
counter.
Yeah.
And tutoring Johnny Horn.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
And Josie too. Right.
I'm sure she could find one day a week to become Miss
So
Twin
I gotta work
Peaks.
on my
Right.
tap routine for the
Right.
talent portion.
I mean, really, Audrey like just decides that day. To
I know!
do it, so it's not really a big time concern.
Well, for sure, Laura died February 23rd, and I just kind of found a general thing, but it's basically, I think, like the end of March. So
That's
I still
really
can't
bad.
find a, I still can't find an exact answer, but
So it's like 6 weeks.
it's very, very fresh still.
Boy. Yeah.
Time heals all wounds, as they say. Not even that much time. Not as much time as you would think.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like a holiday in Twin Peaks, like they can't move it or for some reason. It's like we already closed all the restaurants on
Like
the first.
Marathon Monday.
Yeah.
Or something.
That Roadhouse is booked out. This is the only day they can do it.
Yeah. We've rented the porta potties. Maybe it's a touristy thing. I don't know why it would be, but like there's definitely
the crowd at the pageant was only like 50, 60 people. Like, it's
It's a hot
just
Yeah.
ticket, though. That's capacity.
yeah.
so many people talk about how important it is to the town and
That's true.
and the morale and
Yeah.
everything. Oh my god, it's really funny how much.
I fully expect to see one of you up there in the winner's circle. Come on now. Don't be so sure. This is the biggest day of the year for us. And we have to have somebody up there who really deserves this title. Especially this year. I mean, Laura Palmer. It would be a good day for healing.
Maybe it's like the terrorists have one thing if they don't.
Oh my god, I think so. Well, it's sort of a flimsy answer, but it's basically right.
Okay, wow. Twin Peaks, they're just ready to move on with their lives.
They sure are.
They've mourned for 6 long weeks.
Laura who?
We have a new blonde, Annie.
Yeah.
Let's invest in her now.
Yeah.
So don't get too invested.
Right?
Let's put all of our eggs in the Annie basket and just hope it
And
works out.
fling it around.
She's here to stay, for sure.
Ain't nothing, yeah.
Nothing about her seems like she's taking
We're
it.
gonna celebrate her, put her in the spotlight.
Very focused spotlight, no flickering or anything.
No.
Just-
Did you say strobe light or spotlight? But let's get into this meaty-ass episode. It opens on Windom Earle's creepy cabin. It's a long shot, a long two-shot of Leo and Major Briggs up against the wall, chained to the wall. And Leo has like one hand and one foot chained, which seems, maybe he only had the one set of shackles, Windom Earle, and that's why he had to split it up. But it does allow Leo to spend a long time. I love how long the shot is. This is like so Lynchian. That he's just like leaning forward for a long time and then rifling around in the drawer to get the key. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a tense beginning, too.
That's spooky music. The Windom Earle cabin music is very intense. And his main motivation is that he believes Shelley's in danger, and only Leo's allowed to put Shelley in danger.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking that when he's like, save Shelley. I was like, is this like a redemption arc for Leo? Like,
Ish, right? I mean, he did try to kill her. So,
Yes.
you know.
Save Shelley. Save Shelley.
That's like Leo's MO, is like he exists only to be a threat to like Shelley and Bobby. And like that's just what he does.
Pretty much.
I don't know, maybe this is like he's been humbled by being like someone else's victim, you know, because he doesn't even say like, send for help, get me, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's very
I don't
Republican of him, where it's like,
Now that I have a problem.
now that it's something that personally affects me.
Yeah.
I want all resources.
Yeah.
Father of daughters, his father of daughters moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he begs the Major to save Shelley after he releases them, and then Earl returns, and he has been up to something.
Why, who in the world let Major Briggs loose, Leo? It couldn't have been you, could it?
yeah, he's got a white makeup and teeth.
Found a stash of black licorice,
Yeah.
maybe.
This isn't explained in a previous episode. I thought for sure. Oh, well then I'm gonna assume it's him trying out log lady looks. Margaret looks. He's trying out some different makeup.
Or just different townspeople, and he was like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's settled on the log lady. I don't know who he was going for before that. Yeah, so he's got red eyes, and like his whole mouth is not just his teeth, but everything in there is very black.
He's like the penguin in Batman Returns.
Exactly.
Oh my god, yes, with the bile. He's been chomping on some fish from the sewer. It does remind me of from The Return, the woodsman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's
yeah.
like sort of turning woodsman from the inside out.
Okay, yeah.
He's definitely been in the Black Lodge, I think is the implication. He's been to visit Bob and collect some spiders, perhaps.
Oh, that's very odd, maybe.
I don't know if Bob gave him the spiders or he found them on the way back or what happened.
Well, like, he holds him in, like, a burlap sack at one point. I'm like, that seems like a really inefficient way to, like, hold spiders.
I can't carry spiders.
Barehanded.
Oh.
You know?
I like the way this is shot. It reminded me a lot of Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh.
The scene between Hannibal Lecter and, what's her name?
Clarice?
Clarice, yeah. You know, Jonathan Demme's thing is face-on shots, and so Windom Earle is shot that way, but Leo's shot to his side, so it's like Windom has all the power. He's also shot looking
he's
down
really
on Leo.
imposing. on
Yeah,
him.
it's pretty good.
Cool. So he decides he's not mad at Leo, but he's just disappointed.
Yeah.
So that's why instead of killing him, he's going to set him up with this so elaborate.
No, he
Needlessly
does
so.
everything the hard way.
Fair.
He can't just, like, put one string through a pulley system. Like, he's got a series of loops and holes that holds
Yeah.
this tarantula cage.
It is a whole Rube Goldberg situation. The breakfast machine playing behind it. But we don't see that yet, actually. That's the new game that he suggests.
No punishment, Leo. It's too late for that to do us any harm. And I have a new game for you.
And it doesn't seem very fun. But then we're at the Double R, where Norma's got a tray of pies.
Here's our contribution to the Miss Twin Peaks Gala Buffet.
And she's talking about Annie and Shelley's odds in the Twin Peaks pageant.
And it's the 20th anniversary
Yeah.
of her
years.
win.
So, Norma, are they going to honor you tonight on your 20th anniversary of winning Miss Twin Peaks?
Don't remind me.
Are we putting Norma at being 38 then? Is that what the inference is?
Yeah, was she still in high school when she
There
won it?
was another time when we figured out her age, and I think it was 35.
Oh.
It was like she was
Yeah.
even younger than you would have thought.
So they're
yeah,
celebrating like a
there's-
15, 16-year-old at this.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
maybe.
was thinking that sort of didn't add up the 20-year thing because, yeah, something came up about like how long it had been since high school. Because she and Ed
Yeah.
act like they're like 70, you know?
Really
Like,
do.
Yeah.
really, they're like 35 maybe.
Yeah, because that was when I looked it up, yeah.
Ed I could buy being a grandfather. He's kind of got that like grandfather, old man look to him. He's got some wrinkles to him, but like Norma, no.
Yeah.
She could be a new mom.
I agree, but I think it's Shelley who says, like, you could enter on this year and still win. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Get in there, Norma.
Shelley,
We- we
Norma
just
accuses
compete,
her.
why not? She's
Right.
Norma.
Totally. Yeah, even though Nadine thinks she's 18.
Come on, if you win today, you'd win.
Look at you. You're already working on the judge.
This scene feels a little like a conflict of interest, right? Like maybe Norma shouldn't be talking to the contestants about
Right.
the pageant if she's a
Right.
judge. I
But
don't
like
know.
also a judge shouldn't be married to one of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely, this contest is not on the up and up.
Yeah, Miss Twin Peaks.
This panel.
The ethics of
Right.
Miss
Yes.
Twin Peaks are not as
Also, one of the
rigorous.
judges may be the father of a contestant on.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Scandal. Maybe that's why they're like, we've got to go through with this year. This is too juicy.
We're gonna see this play out.
Yeah.
Yeah, here they're really talking about how it's so important to carry on, and Norma says we have to have somebody who really deserves this title. Like, what do you mean?
With all the previous years where they just give it to someone.
I guess in the past it was just about looks, apparently.
Now they want it about power. Like, what does the mayor say? That, like, his criteria, it's like beauty and power.
Yeah.
That's how I like them.
Yeah. We will get to that, but yeah. They all have their things they're looking for.
Yeah.
But first we're at the Great Northern, where Audrey is stunning in red in front of the fireplace in her dad's office.
Not sure why she's in this like fire engine red gown, just hanging out.
Ooh, I have a theory. I think it's foreshadowing because the bank
fire. It's gonna blow
explosion.
up?
Well, the
Oh,
bank
yeah.
explosion, like, because this is kind of the only scene she's in except for her speech.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, I think it's sort of like she's in this big red dress in front of a fire, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I like it.
They're just hinting at something.
Yeah.
She looks great.
She looks
She looks
amazing.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the standout.
It makes me a little sad that Audrey kind of had to languish in like B-story hell for a lot of season 2 because she was so often my favorite character
Yeah.
in season 1, and I feel like we're getting like a glimpse of the old Audrey here now that what's his face Jack is out of the picture again.
Yeah. I think she also sets up some themes for this episode. She says the concentrate of concentrate. Or whatever.
Yes.
We barely had time to know each other.
But the time that you had was highly concentrated.
It's the concentrate they make concentrate from.
And like concentrate comes up again
It
later.
does. I wrote that down too. Yeah. No, she says as a concentrate they make concentrate from.
Right.
Which is, I like that. It's kind of less elegant, but it's like teenagery.
Teenager, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, Ben's talking. He's back on his bullshit. He's got like a series of holy books to learn how to be good.
The Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Talmud, the Bible, Old and New Testaments, the Tao Te Ching. Audrey, I hold in my hands those holy books which constitute the fundamental framework of humanity's philosophy of good. Somewhere in here are the answers that I seek.
And she's like, I really don't care about that right now.
She doesn't give a fuck about those books.
But he does get it. I feel like they've had a nice journey in their relationship, you know, because he picks up on that pretty quickly. Like,
And I intend to read them from cover to cover until I find... Oh. Listen to me prattling on. It's Jack, isn't it?
wait a minute, let me table this. He knows what's going on with her, which is totally different from earlier, like in the first season.
That is very true. But something that is similar to the first season is that by the time the scene ends, he's kind of standing behind her with them both facing the camera. And that's like his classic convincing someone to do something they don't want to do shot. Like that's how they always shoot Ben, when he's talking someone into something.
Yeah.
This year's theme concerns our immediate environment and what we must do to preserve it.
I know there's another way to do this, Daddy.
Audrey, make the speech. Help stop Ghostwood. And take us to a better day.
It is going to lead to a real bad situation for her. Not just the speech, it'll go beyond the speech, unfortunately. But she does talk about being in Seattle and Seattle shout out, and found out that the Packards are using a savings and loan to funnel money into the Ghostwood development, so the bank doesn't want bad publicity, so he wants to give them exactly that.
I want to know what the Twin Peaks savings and loan is like. How much bad press would they really get? Like,
How much are they relying on?
Yeah.
yeah.
Great question, especially when you finally see it in the next episode, and it's just this doddering old man. He doesn't seem to care about much at all, let alone publicity.
Yeah. I don't know, it'd just be different. It's like if they had like a secret Cayman Islands slush fund via Merrill Lynch or something. It's like, no, this is like probably the only bank in town.
Yeah, saying that they're channeling it through that. It's like, you mean they're using a bank for this business deal? Like, that's pretty normal, actually. I don't know why he would need her to go all the way to Seattle to find that out. So then Ben tells her it's imperative that she enter the pageant and become the face of their protest. And then, yeah, again, he says, Miss Twin Peaks is the ultimate local forum, he says. I wrote that line down.
From the bottom of my heart, I don't want to be the town bathing beauty.
I understand. But Miss Twin Peaks is the ultimate local forum.
Miss Twin Peaks, that's the town square. That's their Twitter. It's
It's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there were more people at that first town meeting after Laura died than there.
It's surprising too, considering a pageant Miss So and So will show up for the opening of a store. This and that. Like, she hasn't done anything that we've seen. Whoever the current Miss Twin Peaks is,
She's not even there.
Yeah.
Usually you'd think they would have her hand the crown over or something, but
She cut the ribbons at the new Twin Peaks Savings and Loan.
They're a branch now.
the second one, yeah.
One for each peak.
At the police station, we're in the conference room where Coop and Harry are watching Andy stare at the petroglyph.
Has he taken his eyes off it yet? Not today.
And people are still on the lookout for Major Briggs, but Coop knows that Earle had something to do with it.
Harry, considering their mutual connection to Project Blue Book, I believe that Windom Earle has targeted the Major. What for?
Is this the scene where like the bonsai is like foreground?
Yeah.
Like, right in your face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, picking up everything. They definitely remind you of the bonsai multiple times.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
It's been 2.5 months since the last episode.
That's fair.
Remember the bonsai.
That is a good point. They didn't even do previously ons back then.
Yeah.
You just had to remember. And you couldn't, rewatch the last episode or anything either.
Yeah. So maybe that is good that they did that.
Yeah.
Like, let's make it obvious.
Yeah. And then Cooper says, "I'd like to speak out loud," which I always think is funny when someone says that.
Who's gonna be like, no. Quiet.
Is this
Quiet.
scene like,
Write it for me.
is this scene the first instance of Harry being like, I'm lost, Coop? Like,
No.
I mean, not in the series, but in this episode,
yeah, in this episode.
Oh my god.
Not connect any dots. I almost feel like that's a motif of people like not connecting dots because like Donna really needs it spelled out for her. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yes, I know.
Phone my mom. There's no name on it. So what? I feel like you got it all.
Up to something.
I mean, Harry, everything. What?
Yeah, I mean,
What's
well,
that? What?
yes, literally, like, why he doesn't even need to be there. Very good contender for LVP. He's like, what would Earle want Briggs for? Blah, blah, blah. Coop is speculating. And then he says, Earl's been looking for the lodge for a long time. And then he brings up Josie. And he's like, this all connects to Josie. And again, Harry has no idea what he's talking about.
And then, of course, there's the mysterious circumstances surrounding Josie's death to consider.
What about consider them out?
I feel like I'm like a typical Harry response on this when Coop is like, well, I had to take your mental state into consideration before I told you about, like, when I saw Josie. And he's like, tell me, Coop. He has this frame like, I'm a man. I don't have any emotions. You can just tell me. Sort of response to that. Don't take my mental state into account when you're telling me information.
I'm sorry I didn't mention this before, Harry, but I had to take into account your mental state.
What is it?
Oh my god. Lest we all forget how disgusting you were after your binge at the bookhouse.
Yeah.
He was a real rat.
He really was.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little bit more prone to violence than he realizes that he is.
Oh, totally.
I became a cop.
Yeah, so he rehashes that he saw Josie.
She was trembling with fear. I would go as far as to say quaking like an animal.
Rude.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, there's gotta be a more delicate way to put that.
Right.
She was so gross. She like wet herself and stuff.
She's just
Yeah, I mean,
cowering in her own fear.
maybe he's still a little sore that she was pointing a gun at him, but
Yeah.
Not for the first time.
that is very true. And he knows that she was very capable of pulling the trigger. And then he says that Bob snuck in, that like her fear opened a little doorway for him to sneak in.
What happened to Josie?
So that is the key to opening the Black Lodge. And unfortunately, Earle is listening to all of this.
Yeah.
You see a connection between Bob and the Black Lodge?
Harry, I think it's where he comes from. If Windom Earle is seeking access to that, it is imperative that we find our way in before he does. There's a source of great power there, Harry. Far beyond our ability to comprehend.
Eureka! Dale, I could kiss your pointy little head.
I I don't know about these acting choices.
Kenneth Welsh's acting choices?
Yeah.
It's fear, Leo. That's the key. My favorite emotional state. And all this time, it's been staring me right in the kisser.
It made me giggle, licking his lips like, oh, finally, I'm hearing what I want to hear.
Yeah.
It's
We've
all Skeletor.
He might as well be tenting his fingers.
Yeah.
We've talked before about how Kenneth Welsh kind of does a Batman 60s TV show villain.
Yeah.
Like, again, I guess that's another connection with Batman there.
He also, like,
Like-
closes his device before he gets all the information. Like, it's
Yeah,
like
that's funny.
It's
He's
like
just like,
Coop and
alright,
Harry are
I've heard
still
enough.
talking, and he's like, I got it.
Pulls the
right.
earbud out.
Yeah.
Eureka.
Eureka.
It is interesting that he's got that suitcase and his listening device that is reminiscent of Mr. C in The Return when he's trying to contact Jeffries and he has like a mysterious technology in a suitcase.
Okay, I don't remember. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, to remember those
Thank you, yeah.
weird little details. Kind of a classic Lynch secret technology in a briefcase. I like that. That's very cinematic, you know, and Marcellus Wallace's briefcase.
Yeah, exactly.
You
We
don't need to see it.
We just need to know what it does.
Windom Earle's off to collect his queen. He says, Dale, I could kiss your pointy little head.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean exactly?
Like, I would say greasy little head, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he got the hair gel.
Yeah, he goes a little heavy on the product sometimes, but,
Right.
like, you know.
He's a Dapper Dan man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Like, I'm not.
Unless that means, is that like a phrase that means something? Pointy
I
little
think
head?
so. Like, I couldn't tell you the etymology of it or anything, but I don't know, I feel like people having a pointy head was like an old style insult.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it real quick, just because I'm so curious about that word choice. And because we know that Lynch likes sort of old-timey vernacular.
Yeah, especially if you're making a joke, he likes sort of like old 50s style.
This expression is used to patronize someone, especially when they don't realize that they're not very clever. Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Damn. Oh, we do have a little dog on the podcast.
Lucy. Her name's
Lucy.
Do a
Aw.
dance for us.
We will get to it, Ryan.
That's why she's wearing that little outfit, huh? And then here is where we get the goodbye to Leo.
I must confess, I've developed something of a fondness for you. Sounding board, companion, ever obedient and faithful.
We see the Rube Goldberg string go up and tied to all sorts of stuff. And then at the top is a cage filled with spiders, but the bottom is missing. So it's kind of like those things could drop on him at any moment anyway.
Yeah. I like the shot. I like following the string. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll give it that. I definitely thought it was going to be something heavy, like an anvil or a typewriter or something. The spiders kind of threw me off a little bit, but I like the shot. I think the shot was really good. That's what I was saying. It just ended kind of funny.
It does. It's like you're never gonna guess. Spiders!
And then it's very Windom too, because it's like a handmade cage and stuff. So it's like twigs and I don't know. Of course he made the cage.
He has so much time somehow. He's a very efficient, productive little dude.
I mean, it seems escapable, you know? Like, he already managed to, like, set Briggs free, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe part of it is, like, he's a little bit rooting, like, maybe he'll escape. Like, he grew fond of Leo.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wants to give
This is-
Leo
yeah.
a fighting chance.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not a punishment so much. It's just a fun little game.
Challenge.
Yeah.
He did say that too. Yeah, I've grown fond.
Yeah.
My gosh,
Yeah,
imagine if Windom was around today, now that escape rooms are a thing. That would be like
Oh
such a
my
perfect fit for
God.
him, right?
He wouldn't have to kill it. Like,
I
he'd be like, I can get it
know.
all out this way.
I know this talent that.
Or he would just become Jigsaw.
Right.
Good point.
He does love the violence, the ultra-violence. At the Roadhouse, it's time to practice the choreography with Tim Pinkle.
1 and 2 and 3. Step forward and 1 and 2. Let the mood carry you. Don't be afraid of your vulnerability. Show me a little more leg.
What kind of a dance is this supposed to be, Mr. Pinkle?
Jack of all trades, Tim Pinkle here. Why is this?
Yes, he's been a cab driver, an insurance salesman.
I gotta say, years ago, Ryan, you told me that like one of your least favorite things in movies and television is like scenes of choreographers being like, again!
Well, I'm glad to know I'm being consistent because he's a bad choreographer, you guys.
Yeah.
He's bad at it.
You've long held this like feeling. You're just like, I just don't want to see like a choreographer yelling at some like sweaty dancer again.
That's exactly what we get.
Oh,
No
yeah.
music.
I know. This is day of show, y'all. Like, can we at least be doing a run through?
Yeah, shouldn't we be at like costume rehearsal at this point?
Oh my god, I know. It is definitely way too late to be learning the choreography.
And is Audrey there yet like that?
No.
This is such an important thing, and then Audrey can just join up like as it's starting.
Annie and Shelley aren't there either. It's only Lana, Lucy, Donna, and Nadine. And then the other girls we know.
Like, we can skip this one. I'm sure I can wing it.
I'll just follow you for the changes. I love Lucy in this scene though.
What exactly are we celebrating with us all bending over like this?
Don't ever question the vision of your choreographer.
Wait, is she pregnant at this point then?
Mhm.
Okay. But I guess it's only a couple days.
It's pretty early.
Yeah,
Early
a couple
days.
weeks, maybe.
She had just found out like when it started, when the show started.
Okay.
So she's maybe like
Month and
6
a half.
weeks or so.
Yeah.
Okay. That was good
Yeah.
because I had that thought later when she's dancing. I was like, how far along is she? And all this.
She's also just eating a bunch of fish. And...
She doesn't care.
She had some sushi and some bologna before she just spit out the wine in the wine tasting scene in the previous episode, though. And I've noticed they were doing basically bend and snap, it seems like. That's this whole move. Pre-Legally Blonde bend and snap. And the judges are watching Norma, Mayor Milford, and Dick Tremaine. And they're also debating the qualities. They want to look for a winner. Again, I feel like it's kind of late for this.
Yeah.
They're really figuring out a lot on the day.
Norma's like, okay, I think I have
Throwing
good
together
criteria.
matches.
I'll go work out the scorecards in the back and see you tonight. And I was like, wow. It's like they don't even tell the contestants like what they need to do to win.
Sure,
They're
yeah.
just supposed to come out and just hope for the best.
It is no rules, just vibe.
They just feel. They're like, yeah. I don't know. We'll see who we feel like this year.
Beauty and power. That's the way I like it. Poise and, God help us, a sophistication and breeding.
Well, I think a major factor should be originality.
Oh, wouldn't that fall under talent? Always nice when it does. Personally, I've always been big on style.
Dick has this like weird combo of being both effete and lecherous.
Mhm.
Like how he talks about he's like style, sophistication, breeding.
Breeding,
Ah. Just, can you use a worse term for what you're trying to say?
I know. Lest we forget that Dick Tremaine was born and raised in Twin Peaks, and he's putting on airs. This is a man who is not actually that well-bred, but he would like you to think that he is. And Norma says originality, which is cool. Obviously, Team Norma.
Yeah.
And yeah, the mayor says beauty and power. I guess he's thinking of Lana in this situation.
That's the way I like him.
And then the best thing about this scene is when the guy with the deer prop shambles through in front of him.
He might be my MVP. Like, I really love
That's such a fun choice. It's so Twin Peaks, too.
It wasn't just that he like walks through with the deer. It's like this sort of like slow mosey. Like,
Yeah.
He
And
doesn't
the way
seem in
he's
any
holding
hurry.
it in
Yeah.
It's almost like he's riding it.
They show it later, too.
Yeah.
Like, when we're actually in the sequence, it's like kind of off to the side. But it's like, oh, he was setting it up. Okay, that's good.
He was bringing it over to the side of the stage. And it seemed a little heavy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I
He
love
comes
when...
back behind them later, too.
Yes, he
And that
does.
scene's good stuff.
I love an extra making the most of their screen time. That's what I would do. And then it's break time, and Lana comes over, and in the previous episode, she discussed with Mayor Milford about seducing Dick, because she decided that that was the only thing keeping her from winning. I'm not sure why.
Why does she want this so much?
It's not clear. The prize is only $2,000, which I guess in 1991 money is a lot, but...
Isn't she married to a very wealthy man now, though?
I don't know, like, inflation stuff, early 90s is roughly like half what it would be today, or twice, I guess I should say. So it'd be like $4,000 today. Like, not like a game changer.
No, not at all.
Not like Sleep
like
with
marrying
Dick
an
Trammell.
old
Like,
wealthy guy.
Yes.
You already got it.
Certainly not seduce Dick Tremaine into closet money.
Yeah.
Yuck. I do think a motif of this episode is entendres. Because the scene in the closet with Dick and Lana is all entendres.
I'm having trouble.
Well, just flick it.
What are you looking for?
Well, now, I don't know the exact technical name for it.
Does anything in here look like it?
Oh, I think this might be it.
Oh, by George. I think you've got it.
I like that scene only from the standpoint that it's a foreshadowing of the strobe lights later.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like the lights.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, I don't know why this scene is here.
Because they really love having men act like idiots around Lana. I don't know why.
It's like you're not supposed to notice that there are so many beautiful women already in Twin Peaks. And then it's like,
Yeah.
I know.
Bauga.
Yeah, you guys are acting like Shelley and Audrey aren't right there.
Right.
So
is there
weird.
a world where this could be the character from Teen Witch, like, moved on and she's casting love spells?
And
on
she
people?
is a witch. Well, there definitely is a sort of implication, if not in the narrative, definitely like people calling her a witch in town.
There you go.
Including the mayor before he was ultimately seduced by her.
Is Teen Witch part of the Twin Peaks-verse?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It might be. That's a great question.
Is it?
Well, and here's the other reason why I think this has merit.
Top that, Matt.
I don't give a about trying to top that.
Given a word for best question. So.
We'll definitely do best question at the end. The reason I think it has merit especially is because in the secret history there is a theory in the classified documents that Tammy Preston is reading that her original husband, his brother Dougie Milford, who did work for Project Blue Book for many years, was murdered. So, I mean, obviously Dwayne thought he was murdered, but, I mean, maybe she didn't murder him. That's just an unanswered question. It continues to be unanswered. So.
Okay.
She doesn't seem smart or clever enough to be able to do it, but she literally says the Steve Urkel catchphrase.
I know.
Did I do that? Which I think was pretty fresh in the vernacular at that time.
Yeah.
Woo! At the Great Northern Hotel, room 315, Coop is sitting on the floor, meditating. Concentrating. Yes! Ooh.
Diane, it's 1:17 p.m. I have just concluded my second meditation of the day in lieu of sleep, and I feel completely refreshed and struck again by the realization that all of us on this great big planet Earth live at only a fraction of our potential.
You remember when he was all sleep deprived in season 1?
Yes, he was so tired in season 1.
I just thought about that because he was sitting next to his bed and I was like, maybe a nap, but he can't do that.
Meditated instead of a nap.
Yeah, and he's making a tape for Diane and he mentions Annie for the first time, which I'm sure Diane is thrilled about.
Diane, at this particular juncture, I would like to make specific mention of Annie Blackburn. She is a completely original human being. Her responses as pure as those of a child. I must be honest, I haven't felt this way about a woman since Carolyn. It has taken meeting Annie for me to realize how gray my life has been since Carolyn's death. How cold, solitary.
Love to hear about all your girlfriends, Coop.
There's so much unnecessary information all the time.
It's like in 6 weeks you've fallen in love with Laura, Audrey. Like,
you were going to buy a house for a minute.
he's a dreamer. He's just a dreamer.
We live inside a dream.
I love that scenes like this with the return. We can picture
Diane.
I always do.
Diane, this may require a slight change of attitude on your part.
My attitude is none of your fucking business.
I know.
Fuck you, Coop. Over and over again. I love you, but fuck you, because I'm so tired. And then also, it's really interesting that he says her name kind of wrong. Caroline's name. He's like mentioning, I haven't felt this way for anyone since Carolyn, he says. And then it's like, wait a second, isn't her name Caroline?
I know.
I haven't been this excited since I punctured Caroline's aorta.
He's already forgetting her name.
No, and the caption says Caroline, so it's like a little bit of shade there.
Yeah, since what's her name?
Love of my life. I know it starts with a C.
Oh my god, I know. The closed captioning was all man 1 and man 2.
They got Caroline's name, right?
The closed captions are Team Caroline, apparently. He's talking about diametric opposites. That's for getting into the Black Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also says, I don't like that. He says what he likes about her, and then he says that her responses are childlike. I forget the exact phrasing,
like
but
pure as a child.
Yeah.
Her responses as pure as those of a child.
I felt like what was keeping Audrey and Coop apart in the earlier seasons was their age.
Oh my god, I know. And now he wants that baby shit.
And I don't know, is she significantly older than Audrey?
Actress, and
we've done this Twin Peaks math before on pod, but yeah. So the character is older than Audrey, but the actress is younger than Sherilyn Fenn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I did read, actually, Sherilyn Fenn recently being like, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
She really, really wanted that love story to advance.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
They would have been so good together.
And maybe it's just, like, personal taste. I just don't think Heather Graham fits the vibe right for Coop. It just feels real shoehorned. Like,
yes.
They needed to hire someone fast for a specific role that would cut Audrey and Coop. That romance would have to be dead with, like, whoever they cast first for this. And yeah, I don't know. It's a little sad, but, you know. Like all heartbreak, I'll get over it.
Well, if you're in Twin Peaks, it'll only take like a day or two.
Yeah. Time will heal all wounds. Like 24 to 48 hours. And also, Annie's a really well-written character, and on paper, she's perfect for Coop. Like, she says weird stuff, and she's always speaking in metaphors, and she likes corny jokes, but yeah, I just think Heather Graham is not a good enough actress to pull it off.
Oh, good.
I feel like every line, it feels like she's reading it off a cue card.
Yes.
Time. Like,
sometimes she's literally even looking off
Yes,
off camera and as
like,
if
she delivers her delivery's always the same, yeah, and it's always it's like she has two tones and she like alternates between. It's bad. Barely opens her mouth. I feel like when she talks, so it's like mumbling almost. I don't know. She really bugged me.
I have to give a speech in 6 hours, and I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I haven't written a word, and I don't have any idea what I want to say. I'm in a complete sweaty palm panic, and I need to talk to someone, namely you.
You're gonna do great! Do it just like that.
You got the role.
I just don't want to stand up there like some deranged Barbie doll saying things like, make sure your campfires are out, kind of like my brain.
You're terrified of public speaking.
Are you afraid of public speaking? Why?
Yeah, so Annie's at the door, and
she has almost perfect timing. I think that's
almost perfect timing.
Almost
what would be better? What would have been better?
Annie Blackburn, you have almost perfect timing.
Yeah. A little later, a little
if he was all done with his recording, I guess.
And she's wearing one of the worst outfits I've seen in Twin Peaks, which is saying a lot.
It's a bad one. It's rough.
I cannot fucking stand it.
Man's shirt.
Yeah.
It's like oversized, like, I don't know. It does not help create the illusion that Coop would be like madly in love with this beautiful woman.
Yeah, like, I cannot take it any longer. I must make love to you.
Right.
And your baggy sweater vest.
I must take these clothes off you.
Yes, suddenly I'm compelled to take all of your clothes off.
Yeah.
All that
Reverse psychology, guys.
all that metaphorical talk about wood. She's like, we gotta do it now.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my god. Oh, they sure do have some entendre speeches.
Look, trees aren't the same as people, but they are alive.
Your forest is beautiful and peaceful.
Part of it's been damaged. I've tried to replant, but nothing's taken root. Every forest has its shadow.
Innuendo again.
Yes, I've tried to replant, but nothing's taken roots. Your forest is beautiful and magical.
Oh my god.
Hey, whoa!
Good thing you're hot, Coop. Thank God.
Oh my god. Can you imagine anyone else saying that?
I would like to see the same speech, but with Andy and Lucy.
Ooh. And then cut. Please cut right before anything else happens. I like that he says, I don't want to talk about trees anymore. That's how you know he's really into her, because all he wanted to do first season was talk about trees.
He always wants to talk about trees.
After that horrible shirt and sweater is off, she's wearing at least like a kind of...
a tasteful brassiere.
A sort of, yeah. Or what do you call
A
it?
little bow.
A little
right
slip.
in the middle of bras? Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
I feel like that was a thing, and like maybe it went away, or I don't know.
Bows were huge in the 90s, and I mean, even in this episode...
Yeah, we got some bows coming.
Literally huge. Huge as in popular, and also huge as in enormous. Woo! Yeah, she asked for help with the speech, and then, yeah, well, he's gonna help her with the speech. Now we're at the Hurley home, where Nadine is having an amazing slideshow of her wrestling exploits.
And this is me with last year's regional champion from Yakima. He was cute but a little slow. Next. And this is me with Brock Farmington, AAA champion from Spokane. Superior upper body strength and quads like bridge supports. I pinned him in 1:05.
Nadine has really blossomed in these 6 weeks. She is living her best life.
Oh god, I love it so much for Nadine.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Everyone else is having ups and downs, and I feel like Nadine, other than she seems oddly upset that Ed's gonna get married, her career's on track. She's entered in Miss Twin Peaks, like she's got hobbies.
She won all those wrestling trophies.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
She can't even hold them all, so many trophies.
This is me with all the stuff I won.
And she's found the love of her life, some high school boy, with great buns apparently.
Well, I guess it all started when I noticed Mike's buns in the hall at school.
No lines.
Yeah, doesn't he say like ow or something at the very end?
Yeah.
I think it's more ah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if he did get paid a day rate or even.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like you have to have at least one bird.
Yeah.
I don't know if screaming counts.
I think it does. I mean,
I would guess
your delivery, the scream, could be a make or break for that part.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
Sad
hope he did. He was there all day.
Yes, he was. I love the way she describes all her opponents' quads like bridge supports.
Pinned him in a minute 5.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know, Nadine.
I
She's
love
just.
Nadine, yeah.
How fun would that photo shoot be too?
Oh, I know.
The day she comes in
it's
a wrestling
so
outfit
fun.
and they're like, we want you to like fly back.
Her face and all the she's so funny.
She's having a ball.
Yeah, that would be a really good day.
And she is flipping people in this. Like, she had to do some real fight choreo for those photos.
Yeah.
Amazing. She's amazing.
I'm glad she got to do that.
But then the most hilarious thing is that Dr. Jacoby is there, and that's not even why they'd all gathered together. She was just like, you guys want to see my slideshow?
It's like a marriage counseling session. She's like, hold on real quick, I got some slides.
Slideshow.
Good on Dr. Jacoby for letting her have that space.
Yeah. She's in a good mood for this conversation about the breakup. He doesn't want to say divorce.
When a couple is contemplating breaking up, well, sometimes it's easier to talk about our feelings when we're around other people.
Nadine says she's feeling a little guilty that she's so happy, but Ed's like, that's fine, I'm gonna marry Norma. And Norma, poor Norma, she doesn't have any lines either in this scene, and she looks like she's gonna puke at certain points. Like, she's just like, I hate this so much.
Yeah, she really looks unhappy being there.
Yeah.
I know this is because of the aspect ratio of the screen, but that made me laugh because they're literally sitting shoulder to shoulder. And Nadine's like, what? Married?
I know, that is really funny. The TV aspect ratio, everyone had to be so close together. I mean, we talked all the time in season 1 about how close Harry and Coop would be when they would be in a scene together.
Yeah.
Like, basically touching dicks a lot of the time.
It's just constraints.
And then they do the weird high handshake. They're so close sometimes. But I think also Nadine is shocked because she thinks they're all teenagers still.
Oh, that's a good point.
So that's kind of...
That is a good point. I forgot about that. That she thought they were all teenagers, not just herself.
And Mike, who is.
Yes.
Honestly, Nadine can do better than Mike. Maybe he's got really just like stellar buns, but I don't know.
We haven't seen him.
We haven't seen him.
I know, during that actual scene she's referencing, he's wearing the baggiest jeans.
How would you know?
Maybe it's like she wants someone who's going to let her shine her light, you know? Like,
Yeah, he appreciates
she's the
her.
star in that relationship.
She definitely needs to be the
In
star.
every relationship, there's a gardener and a flower.
Aw.
And Nadine's the flower.
Oh my god, she sure is.
Where'd you read that?
Will and Grace, episode 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
Very first episode.
And then we cut to the forest where Major Briggs is sweaty and dirty and climbing up a muddy hill, having a real bad time.
I like it looks like he's trying to be normal, though. He does a really funny little shake.
He's trying to maintain his military dignity.
Yeah,
like,
Oh, that's sad.
I like Briggs,
He's
though.
trying
Like,
so hard. Oh, I love Briggs.
yeah, the more I watch the show, I think because of just his relationship with Bobby, because he's so like zen, like you'd think like the military dad would be so hard on Bobby, but he actually is like good at like giving Bobby his space and like letting him like grow and make his own mistakes, and yeah, he grew on me on repeat watches.
He's awesome. I love him.
Don't like seeing him suffer.
No.
And he's like one of 3 people that calls the log lady Margaret. Is that what
Yeah.
it's determined?
Yeah.
He's real cool, dude. Cool for a cop. And then fortunately, as soon as he gets up top, Hawk drives by, which is really good timing.
Really, I mean, talk about good timing.
Yeah.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect.
You have almost perfect timing.
It would would have been more perfect if he had gotten to him sooner and he didn't have to go through all that
Or
shit.
maybe like Hawk stopped and looked around of what else is going on over there.
Oh, yeah.
Like he could have led him to Windom Earle's lair.
Yeah, he just rushes him back to the police station.
Yeah.
Then we're at the police station. Briggs is wrapped in a blanket, and they're giving him some water. And Harry tells Coop that Briggs seems fine physically, but obviously he's not doing so well mentally.
Yeah.
He goes on a little riff about Judy Garland.
That's really funny.
Garland? Did Windom Earle do this to you?
Garland? Odd name. Judy Garland?
Was it Windom Earle?
He was caught, I suppose.
Is this scene, I'm not sure if it's this one, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there a scene when, like, Leo comes back and he's, what is the word he's saying? He says one word over and over again.
Oh, new shoes.
New shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it is that sort of a riff on this? Because he's sort of talking loudly, like Major Briggs is talking loudly while they're having a discussion going on. I don't know, it feels like it mirrors that a little bit to me, because it's Shelley and Bobby, like, having a conversation while Leo's shouting words.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like that's happening here, too, a little bit.
Yeah, because some of the stuff he's saying is important, I think. He just isn't really able to communicate
Yeah,
in a way that they understand.
exactly.
Yeah, because eventually he's like, save the queen.
Judy Garland.
The king of Romania was unable to attend.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cooper can smell the haloperidol, the really weird stuff, on Major Briggs.
It's a shot full of haloperidol.
Because, if we remember, it has a deep smell. That's how it was described. Hawk describes it as having a deep smell.
Like patchouli.
Yeah.
Heady.
So Coop is trying to explain things, or he's trying to talk things out with Harry, but Harry is not helpful.
If the door to the Black Lodge does exist, it probably exists at a point in time. Now, an object such as a door normally exists at a point in time and space. By way of contrast, a shooting star normally exists at a point in time over a continuum of space. But taken from the star's point of view, it's a completely different experience. It just lost me.
He's like, what do you mean? I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not even like a Holmes-Watson vibe where like Watson would like ask kind of a simple question, but like helped eliminate a possibility for Sherlock, like by proving it wrong, but like he depended on it.
Yeah.
Harry's just like, what?
Yeah, everything. Oh, you lost me.
Yeah, he'd be better off talking to a brick wall than this guy.
Plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Andy asks a question while they're working things through about the 4-H club, because there's a little symbol on the board with a little 4 in a circle. Then Coop figures out that if they're not at the right place, well, he has to explain it to Harry.
If we're not at the right place at exactly the right time, we won't find our way in.
What?
You lost me.
I mean, I was a little lost when Coop started talking about a shooting star existing in Casino. Like, okay, you might have to get to the point on this one, Coop.
He did have to do a TLDR, but it seemed like it still wasn't very clear to Harry even after that. Then we're at the Blue Pine Lodge with Pete, Andrew, and Catherine.
I can't take any more of this. Boxes inside boxes. Whatever is in that better be worth a fortune.
And they're trying to get into, they don't know yet, but it's the last box in the puzzle. A little steel rectangle. And they have it in is that a vice? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Trying to squeeze it. It's not working.
I can't believe a little crumb like that can stand up to this cram-jack all-duty vice. 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, Andrew.
I love Catherine's line. They're like joking around as usual, Pete and Andrew.
Maybe it's just a block of stainless steel. Eckhart's last little joke.
It'd be a good one.
Let's channel some of that high wit into the job.
And Andrew Packard, I can't remember the actor's name, something O'Hurley? Dan?
O'Hurley, yeah.
Further reinforcing the RoboCop Twin Peaks crossover.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
We got Ray Weiss, Miguel Ferrer, and now, Dan O'Hurley?
Hurley, yeah.
I just love the way he threw the thing off.
Oh, yeah.
The little box off.
Yeah.
When they take it out of the vice, he's like,
Boxes.
Before he throws it against the counter and shoots at it. From such a far I don't know why he's... I mean, I don't know. They could go outside.
Nobody is real concerned about that. It's like after the third shot, Catherine's like, Andrew.
Yeah. She doesn't even like
It's very
scream.
chill about like...
Can you please not shoot
In, like, the
holes
living
into our
room,
kitchen?
right.
Yeah, like the counter's got 2 gunshot holes
Right,
in
it
it.
doesn't even tell Pete, like, move aside.
I know.
It's also like, aren't you concerned about destroying what's inside
Right.
the box if you shoot it?
This is like not a good puzzle box. Like,
It is really hilarious how they didn't solve any of the puzzles.
Right.
They solved one puzzle only, and then the rest were just like breaking it and smashing it. I kind of like that for them. It's just funny to introduce an elaborate puzzle box and then have nobody solve any of the puzzles.
Yeah, right?
But inside is a key.
A key? And where there's a key, there's a lock.
They don't know it yet, but it's a key to a safety deposit box that will explode. They keep it on the cake tray, and Catherine says many times, in plain sight.
It should be kept safe.
How about here? In the cake saver. In plain sight.
I really like the shot of the key going into the cake tray and the slow push in on it. Matt, you remember when we did Siren in the Dark and there was lots of shots of a pressure cooker?
Yeah.
Like slow push ins on that.
Yeah.
And you were saying that like it's very Lynchian but like bad. But, like, this is a good example of doing a Lynchian homage to like an object and the importance of it, but it's good. I like it because like we stay focused on the key while they're like talking around it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just thought it was really cool.
And Lynch loves his keys.
He sure
And
does.
glasses.
Yeah. It's all good. I liked that end of the scene a lot.
So, we have a key.
We do.
It has like weird little boxes too. All those boxes were very much in his babe.
They say boxes a lot in that scene. Boxes. I'm so tired of hearing about boxes.
Was Carol Channing in an episode?
That was my
fractures.
Boxes? When did I have boxes?
And then we're at the Hayward home, where Donna is ready to go to the Twin Peaks pageant wearing the 90s-est dress of all time.
Yeah, she's also going to wear that to the prom.
Or she already did, I don't know. Yeah, that is quite a dress. But she doesn't want to talk about her speech. She'd rather discuss the truth about Mom and Ben Horn, and they will not budge on that at all.
I want to know what's going on.
Donna, I understand your feeling. There's some things you just have to trust. You're young and you don't know all the limitations.
I know the limitations of lying. I know that you raised me to tell the truth. I expect the same from you. If you're not going to tell me what I need to know, I'll find out from Benjamin Horn.
No.
All right. This is your choice, not mine.
So crazy. They're like, no, don't. You know, like, if you don't tell me I'm going to Ben Horn, and they're just like, no, don't do that. Come on.
Like they just hope she'll forget about it on the way there.
Like, don't call her bluff here.
I
She's
know.
really going to do that. You know?
They've become kind of my least favorite parents in Twin Peaks, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of bad parents, but they're so annoying. And not to mention the fact that they have 2 daughters they completely neglect all the time. Tell me where, oh, where is Guston? She says, you raised me to tell the truth. And I really appreciate that line from her because, like, yeah, they're such fucking hypocrites. They really are. You raised me to tell the truth, and now you will not tell me the truth, even though I know you're lying. Ugh, so frustrating.
Some things you just have to believe or you
Trust.
just have to trust. Yeah.
No, I don't trust you. Where are my sisters?
Good last try there, Mom.
I know. Right? Neither of their line readings are very urgent.
Right. And then they're just like, no, don't go.
No, stop, come back.
Oh no, we lost another daughter.
It really bugged me that they didn't go together, her and her dad. Because, like, he's the MC. Right?
Yeah, he was definitely on his way. He's wearing a tux already.
Why did they take the same car? I don't know. I felt like that
She's
was weird.
mad at him.
Also, another conflict of interest in the Miss Twin Peaks.
Oh my
pageant.
god.
Well, I mean,
He's not a judge, but...
I know, but, like, still.
You think he's going to introduce
He's
us
just
like, and here is the best contestant of them all.
My personal favorite. Like, I don't know. I feel like he could step
He's
down
gonna,
that year.
like, trick somebody.
One of my favorites, and I hope she's one of yours. Please, I'll sexualize my daughter.
I don't think there's any sexualization happening in that pageant, but we'll get to it.
No.
It's kind of one of the least sexy things I've ever seen. But first, we're back at the sheriff's station where Coop is making some headway when he finds the 4-H symbol in a book and realizes that it is a concentration of planet energy.
The 4 and the H are actually astrological symbols. You mean like planets? Why, yes, Andy. Jupiter and Saturn in conjunction. What's that supposed to mean? Conjunction suggests a state of intensification, concentration. What this indicates to me is the potential for explosive change, good and bad.
So Coop checks when the next conjunction is due, and it's not very specific.
Yeah.
Between January and March.
Right, it is now.
Yeah.
But any time.
Yeah.
I guess.
There could be like 4 Laura Palmer deaths at that time.
So I guess just get over there, but you don't have to hurry too much.
Yeah. Why are they thinking it's tonight all of a sudden?
Yeah. And then it's really funny after he says all that. That's when Harry hopefully says, "Holy smokes, that's a hit."
Harry, Miss Twin Peaks. Holy smokes, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Harry. Thank God you're here. Oh, and Briggs says, "Protect the Queen," and fear and love open the door. So those are very helpful things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Earl hears that shit. Now he has both keys, and there's a lot of lore here.
2 doors, 2 lodges. Fear opens one, the black, love the other. What does that mean? I don't know exactly, it just came to me.
And Briggs is kind of channeling the White Lodge while they're in the room.
Fear and love opens the doors. Protect the Queen. How does the Queen?
And when Briggs mentions the Queen one more time, that's when Coop realizes that this is all ties to Earl's chess game, sort of his like flimsy chess motif.
If Windom Earle takes the Queen, the game's not over till he takes the king. Now that depends. Maybe he takes her to the doorway when it opens.
In chess, you get the Queen to get to the king.
Sometimes.
It is kind of a simplification.
Yeah.
But
You can get the king without getting the queen.
Right.
you certainly can. I feel like Earl could too, but he just loves to go the long way around.
He's going to eliminate every other piece before going just for the king.
Yeah, that's the showiest way to do it.
That's Windom Earle's strategy.
That's so Windom, as he likes to say. And all the while, Andy is trying to say something, and he should just fucking say it, but he doesn't. He's just like, Agent Cooper.
Agent Cooper.
Agent Cooper! Just a minute, Andy. Agent Cooper, please! Let's go. Agent Cooper! Agent Cooper!
Lay off, Andy has confidence problems.
But he knows it's so important. It's like the most important thing.
Yeah, to the point where he can't say, "It's a man," but actually drives to the thing, waits for the show to be over, and then says, "I've been looking for it."
He needed the power of Lucy's love to give him the confidence.
Right.
Maybe so.
I do not believe that, but jeez.
But come on, Andy.
No wonder things go unsolved so long in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, time is of the essence here, a little bit. So that's when they knock the bonsai over.
Andy.
And they reveal the bug, and that's when Coop knows.
This bonsai isn't from Josie, Harry. This bonsai's from Windom Earle. He's way ahead of us. And we've been working for him from the beginning.
And they better get to the roadhouse.
He's such a... I don't know, he's kind of like, oh, he's been ahead of us the whole time. What a genius that Windom Earle is.
They have such a love-hate relationship, those two.
Yeah.
And then we're at the roadhouse, and the pageant is happening. We're right in the middle of the opening number.
Honestly, little shine, little polish. I think that opening act could have been great.
I don't like the raincoats.
See, that's my favorite part.
There's way too much going on with the
I like
outfits.
the umbrellas, but not the actual raincoats.
The stage just need to be a little bigger. Give the dancers
music
a
little better. I feel
Yeah,
like the
get a
music
real
is
band
not
in
very
there.
They're really cramped up there.
They're just tripping over one
Well, it's because they let last-minute entries in. Right? It's choreographed for like 6 people.
That's true.
Yeah. This is why I'm mad about Mr. Pinkle in the earlier scene, because he's yelling, "Don't question my vision." But then when we actually see it, it's like, I thought you were supposed to be trees.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, it makes it sound like it's sort of this, like, celebration of nature, but then you get them dressed up as if they need to be protected from nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like a rocket
Yeah.
in, like, rain gear. And this couldn't be further from nature and trees, so I will question your vision.
Yes.
Because I don't get it.
Yeah. It's very fair to question that vision.
He needs to go back to his job as a... What else has he done in this show?
He's a taxidermist, insurance adjuster,
Yeah.
weasel expert, and a cow driver. Yeah.
Was he good at any of those jobs?
No.
Oh, okay, well...
Well, I mean, I guess you could argue that he was a little good at the weasel thing, but he just let his revenge against Dick Tremaine get the better of him.
Well, he needs to talk to Nadine and find a good career path, because she's figured it out for herself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He could work at the Silent Drape Runner store.
I just don't like how he treats Margaret.
I don't like it.
Oh, no.
He's like harassing.
Yeah.
He's not a nice person, Tim Pinkle. He's often very funny, but not very sympathetic most of the time. The only time he's ever been sympathetic is when he's teasing Dick Tremaine, who is worse than him. But there's not a lot of people that deserve that kind of razzing. I can't really quite tell because the raincoats are so bulky. Again, beauty pageant, what are we doing here? But do they have like plaid sort of swimsuits on underneath? But like with red bottoms? I feel like I see flashes of
I
plaid.
don't think it's a swimsuit. I think it's like a dance costume.
Oh, like a leotard kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they could be plaid, like the red, black plaid.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what this shirt part is.
This seemed like a last minute thing that was not good. Like, take one thing away. This is that with the hats, the sparkly hat. That's extra. Don't need that. You have an umbrella and a hat? Come on.
And a raincoat.
Yeah.
And is this...
raincoat. This is also a weird lane.
Was this the one where they're all kind of like marching in front and this about said mild applause?
It's real good caption. Caroline.
Man one. Yeah.
But that is my favorite part of the number, is when they all do their little individual, like, curtsy at the end of the catwalk. It's very cute. Everyone kind of does a signature thing that seems pretty appropriate for their personalities. And then we kick off the individual talent portion with Lucy.
Hey.
And now, commencing our talent section of the show, Lucy Moran.
She's got the talent portion locked down.
She
It
did
was pretty good.
yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I really like it.
She did that splits.
And her
Yeah.
spin.
She's spinning and spinning, does some high kicks.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about it is the garter with the dollar bill tucked into it.
I mean, if it was a drag show, I'd be throwing dollar bills at her.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm bummed that no one did give her any tips for that, because it was great. She's not going to win, so... That's a great number. Meanwhile, Bobby is backstage, and he notices...
I just remembered something.
Okay, go ahead.
After the end of this number, when they bring out the microphone for the MC, is that Chris Isaac? Because it looks like Chris Isaac.
Oh, God.
I thought it both times I watched this episode.
I don't think it is. I feel like I would have heard about that. But,
Okay.
but you know, that's a look. It's a look that
He had a big bouffant
fits in the,
hair.
in the world.
I saw him. I
Shoes.
was
I was
like,
like,
maybe,
yeah. I thought it was Chris Isaac. And like that would fit, you know, this is around that time.
It's Agent Chet Desmond.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah. He came back from the Black Lodge briefly to bring a microphone out on stage. And then, yeah, so Bobby's backstage, and he sees the log lady, and then he's like, wait a second, I thought she was sitting at the bar. But she isn't, which is interesting. I think that's funny. So then he looks back, and he's like, okay.
So what, did you bring your whole family?
I know he's just joking, but as if everyone in her family looks exactly like that and has a log.
That's pretty funny.
But unfortunately, then he gets beamed right in the head.
It's Windom Earle in his best Janet Reno costume.
Oh my God!
I was thinking Sally Jesse Raphael.
No, it gave me hard, like, Will Ferrell as Janet Reno.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad. I'm sorry. Like,
That
Windom
wig
has better
is-
costumes than this.
He really does.
He loves to dress up.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the log doesn't even look like her log.
Right.
She always has, like, a circular log. His
Yeah.
is split.
His is firewood.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's better off creating his own characters rather than emulating other people. That's where he gets into trouble. Although he kind of, in the last episode, he had a little bit of a costume
Yeah, he was in
misstep as well. He was just standing on the shores of the lake in like the most noticeable fisherman outfit of all time.
So conspicuous.
With big binoculars. He had like lures all over him.
I will say, for Bobby, at a distance, I could see how you could confuse Windom for Margaret. But it's a total Monet thing. Like, you get close, it's just like, oh, like, it's very obvious.
Right, but he knows it's not her. Like, that's what I thought was interesting. He's like, oh, is this a family reunion? Like, he knows that's not Margaret.
Yeah. But he doesn't know to be wary. Unfortunately.
I know, yeah. Gets whacked with that log.
The sound design in that, that really makes it sound bad.
Oh, yeah.
Good acting. He's always so good at physical performance. Ugh, really great, Dane Ashbrook. Then Coop and Harry arrive just in time for the contortionistic jazz exotica?
Contortionistic jazz exotica.
It's a belly dance, people. It's a belly dance. Like, don't dress it up any more than it needs to.
I'm not even really sure what culture she's attempting to appropriate here.
Barely anything.
It's like an I Dream of Genie costume.
Yeah.
It's the same country that Jasmine in Aladdin is from.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's whatever amorphous.
Agrabah's.
Yeah. Good pull.
Yeah. I was like, I know. So Harry and Coop are like, okay, as soon as the winning girl is announced, we will grab her and give her around-the-clock protection. And they definitely do not stick to this at all.
Why wait?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm like. Like, they have good evidence that someone in the pageant is the target of the serial killer, but we can't stop the pageant.
Right.
We'll just get armed guards out here and protect everyone.
The show must go on.
Harry made it seem like they're gonna wait until the crowning to get people there.
We're promoting deputies from all over to surround the place. Should be here any time. Harry, it is essential whoever wins this contest receive 24-hour guard, house security. I want the works. As soon as she's announced.
Why don't you get him there now?
But yeah, he said that he's like, we got every deputy like on the way. Like, they couldn't get there.
Okay.
And yeah, then they were gonna do like, as soon as the crown was given to someone, they were gonna put protection at that person's home.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think the deputies had like arrived at in this Twin Peaks. Which, if this is a big town-wide event, why aren't they already here?
It's very strange that he assumed that they were safe at the pageant. Like, when we leave here, we'll protect her. Yeah. There's no way he'll come to the pageant.
Right.
Why would
No one would be that audacious.
Not Windom Earle.
Not even Windom Earle.
Security is already so tight.
Oh my god. And then Audrey gives her speech. We hear the end of it, and it is obvious. It's been great.
There's only one way to save a forest, an idea, or anything of value, and that is by refusing to stand by and watch it die. There is a law of nature which is more fundamental to life than the laws of man. And when something you care about is in danger, you must fight to save it, or lose it forever.
She's so passionate.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are we still in the talent portion? Is giving a speech a talent, or is this the like, and here's my...
I think that's separate, yeah. We don't see everyone's talents. It's interesting, we only see 2 talents and 2 speeches.
What is the portion of a beauty contest where they like ask you, like, what would you do to solve world hunger? Like, what is that?
Interview?
Yeah.
Is interview portion, yeah.
It's just interview?
I think it's just like public speaking. It's just, that's the skill you're supposed to prove in one way or the other.
I've never actually like seen like a Miss America or anything. Like, I only know it through popular culture. And so yeah, I'm just like, why do they have all these portions? Like, isn't the bathing suit competition the one that everyone gets ranked on anyway? I just...
to show her poise and her...
I know Sarah Palin played the flute at like Miss Alaska or Miss Anchorage or whatever it was.
Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah, I guess it'd be nice to see the whole pageant if we had time, but we don't.
That should be a bonus feature.
I know.
Yeah.
I want everyone's talent. What if, like, literally everybody danced? Like, that was,
to that same song.
Everyone's talent was a dance.
I would love it if David Lynch like made all the girls rehearse some big number that they had to do, and then they all got cut. He would never be so mean.
And then backstage, Donna encounters Ben.
Old pictures, worn bearer bonds in the attic, love letters to my mom.
I want to tell the truth. I want to do the right thing.
A birth certificate with no father's name on it? What the hell's going on here, Mr. Horn? Why won't anyone tell me the truth?
What's not clicking?
I know. She lays out all the evidence, and she's like, "Just say it. You're almost there."
Right. Like...
I know these pieces fit, and there's like 4 pieces. Yeah, right. I know they go together somehow.
Or square.
Yeah.
The actress, I'm blanking on her name right now.
Laura Flynn Boyle?
Laura Flynn. Is she still dating Kyle MacLachlan at this point?
Yes, I think they dated until the end of the show.
Oh, okay. She kind of has like the Audrey thing where it's like she didn't really have much to do in the second half of the second season.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't feel like she started as high as, say, Audrey did.
Right.
And yeah, now it's just like they're really trying to figure out a space for her now.
Yeah, when it's almost too late.
Yeah.
They definitely misused her. We talk a lot about how she just was so hampered by all those scenes with James. Like, she'd just pair her with anybody else in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just her, James. What about us, James? What about that? Like, no, she's better than that.
Anchor. Cut it loose.
Like, my favorite Donna scene was in the previous episode, which is a wonderful dinner scene with her and her parents.
So much it's like, pass the subtext.
Yum, yum, yum. Yeah. Delicious. Yeah, I know. And they were thinking maybe they would get another season when they wrote this. So they thought maybe they would be able to resolve this and finally do something with Donna, but alas.
Yeah.
I feel like what the hell's going on here? Like, I think that was a good delivery from her.
I did not realize that the actor who plays Ben Horn is the actor who plays Tony in the original.
Oh, yeah.
I just learned that recently.
And Jacoby is Riff.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just watched the original West
They were
Side
jets
Story.
together.
Oh my god, I'm just catching up, so...
Yeah.
Apologies.
It's alright.
For me, Tony, for Riff. 10 it is. Womb to tomb? First to earth, and I'll live to regret this. Who knows? Maybe what you're waiting for will be twitching at the dance tonight. Yeah, who knows?
It takes all the way to, like, I think halfway through season 2 for them to be in a scene together.
And sadly, it's, the fucking
Civil War
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And they never, they do sing, but then it's fucking Dixie. That's what they sing together. Like, oh, come on. Why are we doing this?
Who needs Tony? We need Tony. He's got a rep that's bigger than the whole West Side. Me and Tony started the jet. So where is he? He always came through for us, and he always will.
Then Annie gives her speech, and everyone loves it.
To illustrate my point, I'd like to quote these words from Chief Seattle, leader of the Suwamish tribe. Your dead are soon forgotten and never return. Our dead never forget the beautiful world that gave them being.
She quotes Chief Seattle. Shout out to Seattle! And I like what she says about it. It's a good quote from Chief Seattle.
When the last red man has vanished from this earth, these forests and shores will still hold their spirits.
I feel like that is very thematic here.
Yeah.
There are many, many spirits in that forest.
There's implication, too, that tearing down this forest is going to be bad for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Because of the spirits, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Don't want to make those guys mad. And then backstage, we've got Lucy saying, I love it when she introduces us to, like, did everybody remember that today was the day?
Today is the day my unborn child receives a dad.
She picks the father, and everyone's very happy with this choice.
Right. Like...
I have decided that regardless of which individual is biologically responsible, that I want Andy to be the father of my child.
Really?
I'm sorry, Dick, but I just have to do what's best for little... what's his name?
Oh, no, not at all a son choice. Heartiest congratulations, dearest Andrew.
Can't you and Dick just admit that this is mutual?
Yeah.
It's just a put out by him not,
I know.
She's been very weird about this whole thing. She's very forgiving of herself in all of this,
Definitely. I'm blameless.
But also, I forgot that that's how things ended up, that she just picked one. So now it's like I want to rewatch that Michael Cera scene and see if is there some clue, is he really Dick's kid?
He does like to speak in flowery language, so that's one indication, I suppose.
I've crisscrossed this great land of ours countless times. I hold the map of it here, in my heart, next to the joyful memories of the carefree days I spent as a young boy here in your beautiful town of Twin Peaks.
I'm going to watch that again with that in mind.
Oh, man. God, I love Wally Brando.
The description on Paramount Plus right now for this episode is Lucy picks a father.
That's it?
That's so insane.
And I was like, I don't even remember that part from
Wow.
this. It must be bigger than I thought. It's this one
Literally
scene.
one thing. That's really funny.
Super short, like maybe 2 minutes, maybe not even.
And it's like so far at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Was that like
That's
something
really
we
funny.
built up in the like...
Is it like Mad Men where they just don't want
that's
to
just
spoil
shocking.
anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did smile though because the scene ends with a wife.
Ooh, you almost never get those.
I know.
This is the land of dissolves and smash cuts.
That was good. I got excited.
Nice job, Tim Hunter. Way to throw in a wipe. And then at long last, it is time. Oh no, first Andy's like, that's great news, but I gotta go find Agent Cooper, even though he's been here the whole time and I've been here the whole time. Andy, he takes a long time to do anything.
Takes the scenic route mentally on a lot of things.
He's a lot in common with Windom Earle in that way.
Yeah.
And then it's time to crown Miss Twin Peaks.
The winner of the contest and our new Miss Twin Peaks is Annie Blackburn.
It's Annie! What?
She's only been in town for like 15 minutes.
Hey, she's from there.
You mean back in town?
Hey.
Mayor Milford. Little senile. Maybe he just doesn't remember her when she was a young lady. A younger lady, as she's now
Yeah.
still a very young lady.
Couldn't have been that long ago.
Lana is hella pissed about this, but like those random Twin Peaks girls are so excited.
I know, they're so happy for her.
Which I love. I love that.
I really like this parade of, what is it called, like, maid of honor dresses that we've got going on.
Oh yeah, it is a costume change for the final announcement.
No, bridesmaid, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It just looked like every single one was like, I could see 3 more people wearing that at a wedding, being unhappy with what they were wearing.
It's not a single person feeling like themselves. So Lana's mad, and the mayor's mad, but Dick was like, she gave a good speech.
Yeah.
I like that he followed, he in the end was not swayed by bribery. I mean, what does he care? He already got his dick touched,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Isn't that worse, though? She went through all that not to win?
Well, it's worse for her, but what does he care?
Yeah. But she was trying to cheat. I don't
What
know.
was any of this for?
What was all this sweet work worth? And then, unfortunately, the lights go out. Strobe, strobe, strobe.
I love this.
Murmurs, we all know that Twin Peaksian residents are very bad in a crisis. The Weasel Riot was major foreshadowing. Everyone immediately starts running around and screaming, so that's great. So I tried to keep track of the events here. The screaming, Harry enters, Nadine gets sandbagged.
One person who could save Annie from Windom Earle
Right.
and knock out the sandbag.
Oh my god, I know.
Makes me sad. I don't like seeing
She probably would have tried to help too, because she's
Yeah.
very helpful.
Yeah.
She doesn't like seeing people get picked on, so.
Yeah, hand-to-hand combat, Windom versus Nadine.
Oh,
Contest.
no
Nadine
contest.
was
way.
super strong.
Yeah.
Because,
She pin him in
Minute.
max.
5.
There's no way Windom Earle has legs like bridge support.
Although you do see a lot of his legs.
Oh my god, I know. You can tell. That, it's funny because you can see in that scene that like a man is not used to wearing a dress because like you can see all of your skirt.
Have decorum,
I
Windom.
know.
And then Doc grabs Annie and oh my god. Okay, here's another way in which Doc Hayward is being so unhelpful. He grabs her and he pulls her into the smoke, which is like, why are you going that way?
And then he just lets her go.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're good.
I did my best.
Ran off.
This is my second time watching the episode, and watching it this time, I was like, oh, I thought Annie got kidnapped. And then when Doc Hayward was like, I was like, oh, but I guess she escapes. And then I'm like, oh no, I saw it right the first time.
Yeah.
He just puts her somewhere else in the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Coop finally clocks Windom after all this time, heads toward Annie, but then Earl sees him and has an explosion all ready to go.
Yeah.
I love the device.
It looks really good in the strobe.
With the strobes, because it's a solid light, it looks like it's floating around.
Yeah.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, that was a good effect.
I don't know, the strobe lights just really... I know why they don't do it anymore, because like you'd have to have, a warning.
Mm-hmm.
But it just looks so cool and chaotic, and things like that pop out. I don't even think that was on purpose. I think it's just
Yeah.
something that like your eye is tricked into thinking it's that way. But but it makes it all so spooky, and it really like draws your eye to the fact that he's got a device.
Yeah.
I want to see more of this. I think it looks great.
It does look really cool. They do have strobe warnings in the front of a lot of shows where I'm like, I never even saw a strobe. What are they even talking about?
Yeah, and this is quite clearly.
Yeah.
Do not look at the screen if you are sensitive.
Sorry, sensitive people, if you are a Twin Peaks fan, that sucks. Because this is a great scene. That's when Earl grabs Annie, chloroforms her, Buffalo Bill style. Then Coop loses her, and the lights come back on.
They took Annie. What? They got Annie. Bastard, you won't get half a mile from here. I'll get him.
And Harry has one more chance to be an idiot. What? And Coop's like, I lost her. I lost Annie. And then that's when finally Andy has been trying to get to Coop for the whole episode. Says his line.
That cave painting in the office, I finally figured it out. What? I knew I'd seen it someplace before. I know where it's telling us to go. It's not a puzzle at all. It's a map.
It's a map.
It's a map.
And that's the end of the episode. That's a big one. It's a really big episode. We talked about some motifs, innuendo, concentration, concentrated stuff. A lot of talk about respecting the forest, which I feel is really meaningful.
Yeah.
And the little discoveries, like the key, when they get the key out of the box, it's kind of parallel to when they find the bug in the little bonsai tree.
Ooh.
It falls out.
I like that.
Nice.
And paternity, a little bit of a motif, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Picking the father.
Yeah,
That's what the Haywards did.
Donna, Ben, and then Lucy with Andy and Dick.
I mean, Coop and Annie and away.
Right. Because of her childlike observations. Ooh. I'm so glad she doesn't call him daddy at any point. Yuck. And people getting some. There was definitely some just fornicating in this episode. Which is great, because get it while you can. It's about to get real dark around here.
We only got one episode left.
Yeah.
Right.
It is nice that Coop gets laid before he goes into the lodge for 25 years.
Wow, yeah.
It has been a minute.
You don't know he doesn't get laid in the lodge.
Oh.
Late in the lodge.
Oh, God.
Now I'm just imagining who his partners would be, and not great options. Not a lot of pickings. Because I know he doesn't...
Right in there?
Well, yeah, but he doesn't see her for 25 years.
Okay, obvious.
And then she comes to tell him it's time to go out. We see Caroline, Annie.
Well, Caroline.
Annie goes out, though.
Yeah, but what about Caroline?
What about Caroline? I know.
I thought it was Carolyn.
I'm going by the captioning. It's man and Caroline.
Got it.
Windom Earle's there, Bob, Doppelcoop, if you're into that.
Narcissist dream. Yeah.
Ryan's into it.
Oh, and Leland.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of yucky. The babe with no arms?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Roadhouse is proud to welcome...
All right, let's do some awards.
Yay.
Let's start with the fish in the percolator. What is your funniest moment?
There was a fish in the percolator.
For me, I feel like it's such a standout. It's Nadine's slideshow.
Oh, yes.
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
my
it's hard
God.
to argue with that one. Just because, like, it's funny, but it's also sweet. Because I like Nadine.
Yeah,
like,
I love
and I want her
Nadine.
to, like, succeed at what she tries.
Oh my God, totally. I very much love that scene, but just to be different and give it a shout out, Lucy's dance. I just enjoy it so much.
I love it.
My eyes are drawn to the screen the whole time. I'm very enthralled by it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I just, like, I love that genuinely, not even like, oh, it's funny. It's, like, so charming.
That's true. It's really just actually good performing, but it is funny too a little bit. Well, the dollar.
Sure,
The
yeah.
dollar the whole
That's
time. Also, how fast she changed her costume. She was just in that horrible opening number getup, and then she's the first performer.
Leah's hard.
So that's impressive. There was only a short musical interlude before they did that. All right, well, that was easy. Ceiling fan. Scariest moment.
Other than Windom Earle in a wig. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go with something out of the Stroby scene, but I'll give it up to the string, like the camera panning to the spiders. When you're watching that, you don't know what's at the other end of the string. That's a good scene. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little trouble with this one. I'm going to go with the early scene when Windom Earle is in his first draft of Margaret makeup with the black teeth as the penguin. There's a shot of him doing that, and then like it fades out, like whoever's talking 2 passes out or something. And there's something about that was very unsettling for me.
I just think the ending, like the scary strobe light ending. The strobe light really made it scary to me.
It is hard to tell. I mean, I've kind of demystified it by watching it a lot and finding out everything that happened. But yeah, like the first time you watch that, it's so confusing and it's supposed to be, and there's chaos and everyone's in danger.
Well, and I like it's just like his thing with scary electricity. You know, like,
yeah. Who can explain it? It's a mystery.
right. No one knows.
I also went with his post-Black Lodge face, because it's just, I mean, it invites so many questions, and then when you think about the possible answers in relation to the whole series, and you think about the Woodsman, which I feel like the Woodsman are kind of some of the scariest things in the whole Twin Peaks universe.
Yeah.
If he's been hanging out with those guys.
Yeah, that's real bad.
And his white face is kind of reminiscent, even though it precedes it, of Robert Blake's
R.I.P.
visage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about P, but R.I. something.
R.I.P. torture?
So yeah, that's some scary stuff. Okay, let's do LVP.
Oh.
I was gonna say,
Is this a unanimous one too, maybe?
well, I was gonna say, like, now that like James isn't around, is the new you can't claim Harry. Like,
LVP.
Sadly, we didn't think of that, so.
I guess everyone's on the table.
Mine's actually not Harry.
Ooh, okay, great.
Harry's just my go-to, because especially in this one where it's just like, it seemed like every line was like,
He's pretty useless.
you lost me, Coop.
It was egregious. Like, he literally had no helpful dialogue at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so that it's not a monologue that we're getting from Coop.
Yeah, he's like, he's contractually obligated to be there, so.
Yeah,
Well, let's hear some dissenting LVP opinions.
Mr. Pinkle.
Oh my god!
I don't like how he harasses Margaret, and I think he's a terrible
We
choreographer.
Look at that. We are vibing. LVP Pinkle.
Yes.
Nice. I definitely agree with that. Although I do just enjoy his works, even though they are ill-gotten gain.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's not a lot of entertainment before the Roadhouse got that great booker, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, 2 Harry, 2 Tim Pinkle. I love it. It's still some synergy here. See, what does Lucy think?
Oh, she wasn't paying attention.
Or
It's too
LVP
scary
is
for her.
Walter, I think.
Oh, no. I'm sure it's mutual. All right, let's do MVP. Anybody but Coop. I don't sure I would even pick Coop in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Leo. He got Briggs out of the shackles, and Briggs was able to get rescued because of it. And Leo probably hasn't been called MVP previously, so, you know, credit where credit's due.
Nice.
I'll give it to Leo.
All right.
He was a contender for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Same, I had the same thought. Unfortunately, I went with a no-named background actor.
Oh, yes.
There was definitely during the raincoat dance sequence, there's
Yeah.
a shot of the judges watching the show, and there's somebody in the background just like dancing along, like really loving the whole number. And I don't know, I appreciate a background actor's choice to do it just enough that you're like, oh, I see you. And his choice is, I love this. I love this Twin Peaks pageant. It's my
It's his
favorite.
favorite time of year.
I don't know. He was into it, so whoever that is, they're my MVP.
Nice.
That's amazing.
I had a lot of contenders, but I went with Nadine. I
Oh,
love
yay.
Nadine.
Yeah.
She's in a lot in this episode.
I also went with Nadine because
Aww.
this is kind of like her last hurrah, unfortunately,
I know,
for a
I
long
was thinking
time.
that too.
I
Is
know.
She's like peaking at this very moment.
Peak Nadine.
Yeah.
That's a good one because she gets to do the slideshow and the pictures for the slideshow.
And she's in the pageant.
And she's in the pageant. Like, God, what is her talent?
I
show?
know.
Oh, does she wrestle somebody?
I would
love
kill
that.
to see her talent.
This is like full, robust life here in Twin Peaks. Like,
She's really blossomed.
She really has.
Damn you, Ed.
No.
All right, well, does anyone have any closing remarks about this pivotal episode?
It's good to see Twin Peaks in sort of fine form again. Even though, like, the second half of the second season, I feel isn't as bad as its reputation says that it is just nice to return to, like, top form Twin Peaks, like the stuff that, like, we got hooked on.
Yes.
They kind of wrapped up all like the dumb storylines at this point.
Agreed. You know, you asked at the beginning of the episode why I picked it. Like, for me, when I was going through, it was like this high plateau at the beginning, and then a huge lull, and then, like, these last 2 episodes I remember being like, oh, pretty good. So...
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of Twin Peaks fans in the 90s had that same journey, and they were like, great, I can't wait for the next season. Sorry, you're going to have to wait a long time.
But then we got the movie right after, though.
The movie doesn't really do a good job of answering any questions.
Well, no, yeah.
Yeah, when I watched Fire Walk With Me last, I was like, it's really not a good representation of the show. Like, honestly, like, if you're a fan of the show, I don't think you'd really like that movie that much. Like, you have to be, like, a fan of David Lynch first.
Yeah.
That's empirically true, because so many people were very angry about it.
Yeah, unless you watch, like, the deleted scenes, none of, like, the Twin Peaks townsfolk are even in the movie. Twin Peaks, like, Laura Palmer's not a character in Twin Peaks. Like,
yeah.
And the movie's all about her, so it's like we're really seeing a movie of a character that we've never really seen, with the other characters at least. Yeah, it'd be a hard sell.
Yes, it was a very hard sell. It took a really long time for people to come around on that, unfortunately. I would love to talk to someone who saw it at the time and was like, that is a genius film and that's what I want from this world. And
boy, yeah.
I don't know.
I think
those people were not, yeah. I mean, it's a hard watch for sure.
Yeah.
I would argue it's
at the
essential,
time,
though.
people went into it expecting it to be like the show, like this sort of quirky,
yeah.
weird thing, and then it's
not
at all.
Not.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's kind of more intense than Blue Velvet, even. Mm-hmm. All right, do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Our Oscar episode?
Or maybe you don't.
The 6 episodes? It's like, I don't know.
Hey, do you have 6 hours and want to watch a slow motion train wreck?
Shocked at how many people are like, oh, just starting hour 6.
Oh,
I'm like, really? Really?
Oh, you're getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, like a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people texting and
Nice.
stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a little shocked because honestly, like, if I weren't a part of that podcast, I probably would have given up somewhere in episode 4. But no, a lot of my friends have talked about going all 6 episodes.
There you go. X-rated movies. Check it out if you're brave.
Get your hot Oscar content there.
I mean, I understand why you guys might be a little biased in that. What's the opposite of bias? Where you're like, we don't think anyone should listen to this. But it's so great. The journey, it's a story in and of itself. I almost wish that your podcast could be up for an Oscar because there's such a trajectory, although it does end on a cliffhanger. That's my one complaint. Yes. Well, where can they find you?
Any place you get podcasts. Everything should still be up on your Apple Podcasts, your Spotify's.
Yeah, as long as we keep paying for the website,
yeah.
Be there.
Awesome. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you so
Hope
much
we
for
have you
having
back for the return at some point. Really Weird Stuff is hosted by Annie Malone and Jessica Baxter. Music by Julie Cruz, Angelo Badalamenti, and Jessica Baxter. If you enjoyed Really Weird Stuff, please take a minute to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Instagram at Really Weird Stuff Pod, on Twitter at Really Weird Pod, and on Facebook at Really Weird Stuff Podcast. Thank you for listening.